Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage we're continuing with the gearbox service on the XK8. Any of you wondering about this strange starting angle for choice of shot on this video, it's because you're being shot from my new, I've just created it, it's not bought, rig that I've attached to my crawling board, creeper board. So I've got my DJI Osmo on an offset mount with the light above, the Rode Wireless mic kit, and it all attached to my creeper because I do all the filming for this sort of thing myself. There's generally nobody else in the garage, and to be able to show you what I'm doing, I thought I'm going to have no hands. So not only have we got this thing rigged up, but I've also got the camera set up so that it's going to film via the phone. So I'm going to operate the camera and view the image on the phone whilst I'm under the car. We'll see how that goes, and I'll collect a little bit of B-roll on my Insta360, which I don't use very often, if I'm honest. It's an amazing piece of kit. I want to get out and use it more just for the fun of it rather than the need to. It's a wonderful gadget, but yeah, very often I just haven't got the time to set up more than one thing. So let's get our unit running. And let's get this video on the road. We've got a drain down container. It's got a top on both sides, very useful for collecting your oil. I'm going to use that to drain the oil out of the gearbox. So for those of you interested in such things, that is how I'm viewing what the camera is seeing and operating it using the record button just there. Okay, so that is the sump of our gearbox. You might be able to see some oil around here. It looks like the gearbox is dripping. It isn't. That is because last video I did my pre-treatment showing you how I was going to be reasonably assured that all these bolts will come out, because they are known to strip heads and strip threads and snap. If you want to check that out, go to the video, I'll link in the description below. But I've been around and put a bit of penetrant on this morning as well, so this is just the drips from that. Now the engine has been warmed. It's not hot at the moment, but certainly the oil is above ambient temperature. So we're going to let the oil out using this sump plug, which is in the front of the gearbox pan. And if I'm not wrong, that's a M8 or Hex 8. So I'm going to get the plug loosened a little before I get the drain pan into position. We've not had this undone, and again they can be very tight because alleged sealed for life means it's quite possible nobody's ever opened this. Yep. Oh. Oh. Yeah, don't know how much force that took, but certainly more than the recommended torque, I'm sure, which I think from memory, because it's on the bench, is about 30 Newton meters. So what I'm going to do now is position my oil container underneath here. Remember to take the top off the container, whatever you do, else it's going to get super messy. Let's get this old oil out. Always try not to lose your sump plug in your drain container. It's very easy to do. And there we go. You know what? That does not look disgusting. My car's done 50,000 miles, so you know, mileage is nothing. But she's a 1996 car, so 26, 27 years old. There's no smell of burniness, no lumps and debris falling, and I can see through the stream. I don't know how it looks on camera. Right, we'll let that drain for a little while. Okay, so we've got a big flat drip tray there now, and no matter how long I leave that, trouble is there's always going to be oil in the pan because the drain plug is higher than the low point in the pan, so you're gonna have oil falling out, so be ready for it. So now I'm going to remove all of the bolts that are around the base of this transmission sump. Got me part tray there, magnetic. Means I can work upside down, which is useful. Then we've got our Torx T27 bit, and all I've got to do is take all of these bolts out. Oh! They're all the same length, or they should be, so you haven't got to keep them in a particular order or anything like that, so you can just pop them all in your tray. I'll leave two easy to get at bolts halfway down the long sides until last, just so that the thing doesn't fall on me. Although an impact wrench is one of my very favourite tools and can be useful to rattle loose bolts like this, which are over tight, you are taking bolts out of an aluminium casting, so be careful of doing anything where you very quickly unscrew them, because if you overheat the alloy, then you can spoil the material and ruin the threads. Much more of a problem actually on stainless steel fittings, but yeah, probably take these out a little steadier. You want to make sure your car is reasonably level when you're doing this job. It's not going to help you drain any more oil out at this stage, but when it comes to filling it back up, the amount of oil going back in is pretty important, and you're filling to an overflowing fill plug. So if the car's tilted left, right, front or back, it will make a difference. So as level as is possible. I think I'll come back to you when I've finished taking all these out, as I'm not fearful that they're not going to come out because I did the prep. I'll be very unlucky if one of these fails on me. So see you in a bit. Well, managed to get all the bolts out. That one really worried me. It undid, as in broke free, but it was getting tighter and tighter on the way out. So I ended up winding it back in, leaving it to cool down. Did the same again twice. It did come out, but I should be soaking all these bolts in some penetrant before they go back in, and I may run a thread with a tap into the gearbox just to be absolutely sure that they're going to be easy to put back. So I'm just taking my last two bolts out now. They're both fair way out. Let's take a bit more off this one. And then I'll reposition my tray, because this will have quite a lot of oil in it. I've put the sump plug back in because this will have oil in it, and I'd rather it didn't tip out everywhere. I can control it a bit more. So, reposition time. There he is. And then, when I know that's undone, hold it up with one hand and slide my tray back underneath. Right, I think that's out. Yep. I moved my magnetic tray in case I knocked it. So what I'm going to do now is just pull my drain tray back into place. I don't want to let this hang off one bolt because the flange might get distorted. That's it, last one's out. So what I'm going to do now is try and lower this down without dumping its contents on my own face. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to get the sump out from under the car and leave the tray to collect the drips. And that is our filter. Now, most of what's dripping is going to be stuff that's coming out of the various valves and channels inside the gearbox, but a good deal will be coming from the filter, so it's going to drip forever until I remove this thing. And it's only got two bolts holding it in, one here and one over here. So I'm going to whip them out and then leave the whole thing to drain a bit better. Again, T27s, one. These have been immersed in oil their entire lives, so they should not be a problem. Also, the filter is pushed into a rubber seal, so it should not drop, but be careful. You'll note the use of a short-sleeved outfit today and no watch, because I was always going to end up with oil up my sleeve. These bolts are different to those holding the sump on, and very obviously different, so it shouldn't be a problem. That's it. And yeah, that would hold itself in place. If I give that a little jiggle now, it should come down. It's quite a chug, I've got to say. Ooh, quite a lot of extra oil there. So as I say, we're going to drip forever until I got that off. Right, I'm going to clean myself up and get out. Let this drain. So loads of oil in there. It'll be interesting to pour the majority of it away and see what sort of condition it's in. But got a white cap off some paint, a little bit of oil in there from some drips for I got underneath the vehicle, but essentially it's a white cap. So if I collect a little bit of oil in here for you, it's got plenty of colour to it in the bottom here. It's certainly a lot clearer when it was pouring out, so the bottom of the sump has got the dirtiest oil in. Let's pull that away and show you the residue. Not disgusting. So I wonder what it's like in the bottom of this sump. Well, this is not looking bad at all. I mean, the little oil that's left clinging in the bottom of this pan is coloured, but not filthy. This stain or tide mark here on the bottom wipes off, so that is material. And we've got magnets sitting in little pockets in each corner. And that's got, I've seen a lot worse. It's got a bit of sludge on it, but it's very fine. There's nothing glittering and standing out in there that says a drum is shedding its teeth or a seal has gone. I'm quite pleased with this. I don't know if it's just because it's only done 50,000 miles or has somebody been in here before. There's no record of the gearbox being serviced and the bolts were very difficult to undo. So I think I'm going to just say this is in good nick because it's not done too many miles. I'm going to put my 4 magnets on there. Oop. Forgot about magnetic attraction. That's the worst of the material. The rest of this, there's a little film on the bottom. It's settled, but there is literally no solids above, let's say, 0.1 of a mil. Very pleased indeed. Right, I'm going to clean this pan out properly and then come back to you again. Well, I've given the inside a good clean out and it's all beautifully passivated, this gold colour, so it's never seen any drop of water. I still didn't get anything solid out of it. Been very careful to check. Just a tiny amount of grey powder, which is probably friction material. Some of it's obviously metallic 'cause it's stuck to the magnets, but not much. So just because me, for no other reason, I'm going to clean up the bottom of this and give it a squirt of some satin black. And regulars to the channel will know I've not been desperately well lately. Thank you to everybody who sent their best wishes. I am feeling so much better, or I wouldn't be doing this. But I have to say, though I've felt fine, doing that is enough for today. I've worn myself out a little bit. I feel fit and well, just lacking energy. So I'll clean up this, put a bit of paint on it. I will leave the drain pan under my car so it drains down properly, and then hopefully tomorrow I will get on to giving the gearbox a little check out, clean up, fitting the new filter, new gasket, refitting the sump, and then the all-important topping up to the correct levels to complete the gearbox service. But for now, I think I'm done. See you all soon. Bye. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.